Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky, 1821–1881, stands as one of the most influential novelists in world literature, renowned for his deep psychological insight, complex characters, and profound exploration of human nature, morality, and spirituality. His works probe the darkest corners of the human soul and explore themes such as faith, doubt, free will, suffering, and redemption. To understand the depth of his writing, one must look at the extraordinary and often turbulent life he lived. Early life and family background. Dostoevsky was born on November 11, 1821, in Moscow, Russia, into a middle-class family with a military and medical background. His father, Mikhail Andreevich Dostoevsky, was a doctor at a military hospital, and his mother, Maria Fyodorovna, was from a noble family. The family was religiously devout, which influenced Fyodor's later philosophical and spiritual explorations. As a child, Dostoevsky was educated at home by tutors and developed an early love for literature and philosophy. The family later moved to St. Petersburg, the imperial capital, where Dostoevsky attended the Nikolaev Military Engineering Institute. However, his true passion lay in writing rather than military engineering. Early writing and struggles. Dostoevsky's literary career began in 1846 with the publication of his first novel, Poor Folk, which gained immediate attention for its realistic portrayal of the lives of ordinary Russians. This debut positioned him as an emerging voice in Russian literature. However, his early years were marked by financial difficulties, health problems, and personal struggles. His second novel, The Double, published in 1846, received a mixed response, reflecting Dostoevsky's growing interest in the complexities of the human psyche. During this period, he also struggled with epilepsy, a condition that plagued him throughout his life and often influenced the intensity of his writing. Political troubles and imprisonment. Dostoevsky's life took a dramatic turn in 1849 when he became involved with a group of intellectuals known as the Petrashevsky Circle, who discussed socialist ideas critical of the autocratic Russian regime. Arrested for his participation, Dostoevsky was sentenced to death. He faced a mock execution in a public square, a traumatic event that profoundly shaped his outlook on life and faith. At the last moment, his sentence was commuted to 4 years of hard labor in a Siberian penal colony, followed by compulsory military service. The years in Siberia were brutal, but they also became a period of spiritual awakening and personal transformation for Dostoevsky. He witnessed the harsh realities of human suffering and the resilience of faith among prisoners. Later life, marriage, and literary mastery. After his release in 1854, Dostoevsky served in the Siberian military but was allowed to focus more on literature. He returned to St. Petersburg and gradually rebuilt his career as a writer. In 1857, he married Maria Dmitrievna Iseva, who was ill for much of their marriage and died in 1864. His writing matured during this period, and Dostoevsky produced some of his greatest works. In 1864, he published Notes from Underground, a novella considered one of the first existentialist works. It introduced the world to his unique exploration of alienation, free will, and the contradictions of human nature. Dostoevsky's financial situation remained precarious, worsened by his compulsive gambling, but his literary output was prolific. His novels increasingly explored moral and philosophical questions through intense character studies. Major works and themes. The late 1860s and 1870s marked the height of Dostoevsky's literary genius. His masterpieces from this period include Crime and Punishment, 1866, a psychological novel about Raskolnikov, a young student who commits murder and wrestles with guilt, morality, and redemption. This work delves into themes of justice, suffering, and the nature of evil. The Idiot, 1869. This novel presents Prince Mishkin, a Christ-like figure whose innocence and goodness clash tragically with the corrupt society around him. It examines the tension between idealism and reality. Demons, also known as the devils or the possessed, 1872, a political and philosophical novel that critiques radical political ideologies and nihilism in Russia, exploring how extremist ideas can corrupt individuals and society. The Brothers Karamazov, 1880, Dostoevsky's final and arguably greatest novel. It tackles profound questions of faith, doubt, free will, and morality through the story of the Karamazov family. The novel's exploration of human psychology and theology remains influential worldwide. Throughout these works, Dostoevsky grappled with the fundamental conflicts of human existence, the search for meaning, the battle between good and evil, the presence of suffering, and the possibility of spiritual redemption. Personal life and health. Dostoevsky's personal life was as turbulent as his novels. His relationship with Maria was complicated by his gambling addiction, which led to significant debt and hardship. Despite this, Maria remained devoted and helped stabilize his life in later years. His health was fragile, largely due to epilepsy and the harsh conditions endured during imprisonment and exile. He suffered multiple seizures, which he described vividly in his writing. These health issues, combined with the emotional intensity of his work, took a toll on his physical well-being. Legacy and influence. Fyodor Dostoevsky died on February 9, 1881, in St. Petersburg, leaving behind a rich legacy that continues to shape literature, philosophy, psychology, and theology. His work profoundly influenced existentialist thinkers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus, as well as psychologists like Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, who admired his deep psychological insight. Dostoevsky's novels are celebrated for their exploration of the human condition, moral dilemmas, and spiritual crises. They remain essential reading not only for their narrative power but also for their enduring philosophical and ethical questions.